Welcome back to Finding Wendy. Thanks for joining me again this week. And this week I'm going to be talking about this week's bariatric support group meeting, where we talked about tips and tricks to stay on track. I'm also going to be talking about a very interesting article that I found in this month's American Scientific magazine called Mind Over Meal. And does weight surgery rewire gut-brain connections? And then, of course, my stats. So stay tuned. Okay, for this week, again, has been a successful week. And I think I'm just going to switch up my glasses here because I have computer glasses, I have reading glasses, I have music glasses, the joys of middle age. Anyways, so this whole journey started back in December 2017. I weighed 450 pounds. My first day of Optifast was February 20th, and I weighed 400 pounds. My surgery was March 20th, 2018, and today is my 10-month anniversary. So 10 months ago, I had the surgery on March 20th, and I was 375. Last week, I was 257, and this week, I'm 254. So I have lost again 3 pounds, which is great. So that means I have now lost a total of 196 pounds in total since this whole journey started. And then since my surgery, I've lost 121 pounds. So amazing. It's quite amazing. And I'm really, really happy that I'm only 4 pounds away from losing 200 pounds. Okay, I'll talk about these two topics in a second. Stay tuned. First of all, I want to talk about this polar vortex that has gripped the eastern seaboard here in Canada and America. Right now, it's minus 15 outside. We had about 3 inches of snow last night. And the wind chill, there's quite an incredible amount of wind that's coming from the North Pole. So right now it feels like minus 30, which is minus 22 Fahrenheit. So it's pretty damn cold outside. And you really have to bundle up with hats, scarves, and mittens. And I took my dog out, and she just went did her business, and then ran back inside again. All right, so I was going to talk about tips and tricks to stay on track. So our first bariatric support group meeting was last week, and this was the first meeting in the new year. So the theme of the meeting was your New Year's resolutions and staying on track. So I made notes, and I will include a PDF Word document in a link will be below, so you can print it off yourself and relook at these particular topics of conversation. So the first thing was tips and tricks to stay on track. So you need to track your progress. So you use a journal, habit tracking apps, things like that. I use the app on my phone to track my weight, and I use another app to track my dietary, what I eat during the day, and I still use them 10 months later. It's really important to stick to that, which is the next point that I want to talk about. Use a habit anchor. So a habit anchor is something where you do something and then you do that something with it. So in the morning, you brush your teeth and you take your vitamins. So in order to make sure that you are taking your vitamins every day, it's good to use a habit anchor. So the habit anchor would be like at night before I go to bed, I brush my teeth and I take my vitamins. In the morning after I've taken a shower, I dry myself off and I take my vitamins. So it's just a habit anchor. And it's the same thing with if I have a meal, then I input the meal into my diet app that I use. It's called, what's it called again? Where's my phone? Oh, I'm talking to my phone. That's right. Anyways, I'll put the links below of the diet apps that I use, and I highly recommend you use them, and get into the habit of using the habit anchor in order to make sure that you do take your vitamins and you do stick on track with eating the right foods, tracking your calories, tracking your protein. I still eat between 600 and 800 calories a day, even after 10 months. I still eat 60 to 80 grams of protein a day, and I don't eat more than 80 grams of carbs. So the next bullet point, be accountable with groups and partners. So be accountable. I'm accountable to you guys during YouTube, and I'm accountable every week by saying what my weight is. Remind yourself of your value. Like, why is it that this is so valuable to you? Why did you actually do the surgery? What made you want to do the surgery? Incorporate rewards. Like, if you do well, not necessarily if you've lost a lot of weight, that means I can have some hamburgers and fries. No. But other rewards, like I lost 197 pounds or 196 pounds, so I deserve to fly to Amsterdam in July. For example, those type of awards. Or I deserve a new coat or a new pair of shoes. Next bullet point, reflect on obstacles, including psychological ones. So if you do have an obstacle, if you do have an off day, if you do have a day where you ate where you shouldn't have eaten, reflect on it. Look back at what is it that what triggered you, and make sure the next day you get back on track. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is revisit your values. So the next thing that they talked about. So values can change. So my values have changed somewhat since 10 months ago. So my values in the sense of it's really important for me to stay on track and to stick to the diet. But now my values have changed in the sense that I want to go out more. I want to be more social. I want to do more things, go out to concerts. And the food element of it is less important. Whereas right after surgery, as you all know, your food element's really important because your whole day is just surrounded in when is my next quarter cup of food, or when do I have to drink again? When can I drink again? How much have I drank? So those sort of things have changed 10 months down the road. They're not as predominant because they've become habitual. Continue to ask why this is important to me. Why is it important to have values? So the value for me, what is it that you ask yourself, what is the most important thing to me right now? The most important thing to me right now is to stay on track and stay healthy. Continue losing weight to get to my goal of Wonderland, but also to continue feeling good about myself. Continue feeling euphoric that I'm doing as well as I am. All right, so the next section we're going to talk about is the access and problem solving. So ask yourself, is my goal too challenging? So your goal for me, Wonderland, is that too challenging? So make sure that you relook at the things that you want to accomplish. Did something get in the way? If so, be specific about what got in the way. What do I need? Do I need help to accomplish my goal? And have I already met my original goal now, or am I stuck? Okay, so there are lots of people out there that have lost a lot of weight, and then all of a sudden they have a plateau and they're not losing weight. All I can say is that I've had plateaus over the last 10 months, and I just stick to my guns and keep on going. So don't don't be in despair if you have a plateau. Now, when you reach your goal, which I haven't yet, but if you reach your goal, maybe you have to set out other goals. Like my goal, a new goal is to run a marathon, or a new goal is to help with volunteering or something like that. That it's not so weight driven, and it's not so, oh, I have to absolutely get into a size 4 pants or whatever. That's not my goal. My goal has nothing to do with getting into a certain size clothing. but my goal is definitely Wonderland, and then to be more mobile. So my goal after I've lost this weight is to have hip replacement surgery, because I'm so disabled and my left hip doesn't work at all. So that's why I still ride around on a scooter and walk around with 2 canes, because I have a very bad arthritic hip that needs replacing. Okay, so problem solving. Revisit what and how much and how often to scale back. Less is more. Ask for support. Accept that physiological barriers will come up, and reflect and reset a new goal. So revisit, and certainly look if you're doing too much. If you think that you can accomplish losing 5 pounds a week for 10 months, forget it. I would say on average I lose between 1 and 3 pounds a week. And if you're doing that and stick to it, you will reach your goal. So, and then the last part of this was that we are our own worst enemy. So, common barriers. We discourage ourselves. Example, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. That's a common barrier. How to overcome them. Don't take these thoughts too seriously, and say something nice to yourself instead. So, you know, how many times have we scolded ourselves for like falling off the wagon and eating something you actually shouldn't have eaten? Don't scold yourself about it. Just think about how much you've accomplished so far, and just get over it. Like, it's not good to be negative. I say that to my horn students all the time. If you're not playing well, it doesn't matter. Look for something positive in your playing. Always be positive. I'm a pretty optimistic and positive person. A lot of my friends have said that. They don't get it. But that's always been my goal, to look on the positive side of life, because you know what? There's no point being negative. So another common barrier is we rather avoid uncomfortable feelings, frustration, worthlessness, anxiety. And how to overcome them is make space for uncomfortable feelings. We are allowed to feel these too. So being uncomfortable, I guess the only thing that I can say is that my frustration and my worthlessness I felt in the past about how big I was. I was 450 pounds. I felt like a freak. And I never went outside. I was embarrassed. And I was always looking at people, and when they walk by, and I'm like probably imagining they're saying horrible things about me, because people talk about your back, behind your back, about your weight. And it's uncomfortable. It's not a nice feeling, and I've been bullied all my life with people calling me names because of my obesity. So looking for something to feel like it's okay, Wendy. These people on the street don't understand. Yes, I'm still overweight, but I'm doing something about it, and they don't know that. They don't know who I am. They don't know what I'm busy with. So it's okay. Just leave it alone. And then the last thing, a common barrier, is we forget why we made the goal in the first place. And you need to remind yourself how to overcome them, is to remind yourself of your values and your motivation. So always go back and remind yourself why you actually underwent this bariatric surgery, why you underwent any kind of project. If you're deciding to play an audition for an orchestra, or you're going to be doing an interview for an important job, remind yourself of your values and your motivation, why you're doing it. Why do you want to change your life? Why do you want to go into a divorce with your partner? What is it that you want that will remind you of your values and motivation to keep on going and doing it? So those are the things that we talked about in our last support group meeting. And again, I'll post this worksheet for you underneath in the comment section, and then you work through it yourself, and just make some notes yourself about your values, and about how to revisit and scale back if you need to. And the next thing I wanted to talk about was this incredible article that a friend of mine discovered in the January issue of Scientific American magazine. It's called Mind Over Meal. And does weight loss surgery rewire gut-brain connections? And basically, in brief, this article, which I'm going to post a link to below as well, so you can print off your own copy of this particular article, is that doctors have long suspected that bariatric surgeries help patients lose weight by reducing the size of the stomach. But new work suggests that other mechanisms are involved. In patients who undergo the procedure, in the brain areas involved in communicating with the gut become hyperactive compared to their earlier activity. And these interventions can also change with microbial populations living within the digestive system in ways that could further adjust signaling along the gut-brain axis and contribute to new, healthier eating habits. So basically what this article is talking about is this one patient who had bariatric surgery. She had sleeve surgery, VSG surgery, and she struggled with her weight all her life, and she underwent the surgery. But this article also talks about the idea of why is it that Teresa's weight loss is drastically changed by the size of her stomach. And what's happening now is that scientists are finding that the gut, basically the what's the word that they use here? Let me just read you part of it, and then you'll see what I mean. Patients get fuller faster, eat less, and therefore lose weight is the concept behind bariatric surgery. This idea is partly true, but now scientists know that it is not nearly that simple. Teresa's weight loss, this was the one patient they were talking about, Teresa's weight loss was in all likelihood caused by the drastic change in how her gut, how her stomach and her gut speaks to her brain and vice versa. The procedure had indirectly spurred new neural connections, changing how she thought about and craved food. Recent science has revealed that appetite, metabolism, and the weight are regulated through a complex dialogue between bowel and brain, in which mechanical influences, hormones, bile acids, and even the microbes living in our gut all interact with a labyrinth of neural circuitry. Bariatric surgery, scientists are discovering, engages in what may change all these systems. So basically, the what's happening in the stomach, the gut microbes, they may play a role in obesity. So gastric bypass surgery can lead to lasting changes in the microbial population that resides in the digestive system. So what they've done is that they use mice, and they had a bariatric mouse and a non-bariatric mouse. And they actually transplanted the gut microbes from the bariatric mouse into the non-bariatric mouse. And the non-bariatric mouse started losing weight. So there's something about this, what this article is about is talking, the whole time about how the brain is telling, or how the gut is telling your brain food is coming, or how the gut is telling your brain you're full. You know how we're always told to slow down? The reason why we're told to slow down with eating is because your gut is telling your brain to slow down because you're full. And so the activity that's happening in your stomach is changed after you've had bariatric surgery. And this was what I find so interesting about this article, because they're saying that maybe 10 years down the road, we won't need bariatric surgery anymore. That the scientists will be able to discover the actual hormone that's in these gut microbes, in the gut microbes, and they're able to transplant or inject these gut microbes, new gut microbes, into your gut to make you feel like you're full faster. This type of procedure has already started with people that have extreme diarrhea. What's the word? I can't remember what it's called. But, you know, this disease when you have I looked it up. Of course, I looked it up. So IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, or problems with your colon. And so that they've actually transplanted healthy poop from somebody into somebody that is suffering from things like IBS. And that helped with curing their problem with their bowel problems. So, so the eventual theory is with this article is that to transplant these gut microbes into a person that has obesity problems in order to curb their eating. So basically, the interesting thing about this article, well, first of all, she talks about how it is now that her, after having her surgery, which I have the same thing, gone is the desire for sweets and excessive salted savories. Her once beloved French fries and rich desserts no longer enticed her. Her desire to eat was back, but for the first time in her life, eating right came easy. So for me, for example, if I have a plate of French fries in front of me, I eat one. I don't need and have the feeling that I have to overeat anymore, which is it's like this giant weight off my shoulders that I just don't feel like overeating anymore. I feel satiety. I feel when I'm full. This morning for breakfast, I had scrambled eggs, 2 scrambled eggs, and 1 piece of toast for breakfast. And I was full. I was so full I could hardly finish it. So that's, you know, that's really quite exciting for sure. But this article is a really interesting read because, of course, I'm an educator. I like to find out about why things happen and educate other people about why it happened. That's why I teach the horn. I'm happy to share my musical knowledge about how to play the horn well because I had such great teachers. So I have great teachers in the sense of my bariatric support team at Toronto Western Hospital, and they are teaching us about all sorts of very interesting things. And I have a network of people around me who are also interested in the subject and pass me these wonderful articles every now and then. So I would say the important thing is to gain knowledge. Gain as much knowledge as you can about this particular subject, bariatric surgery, why you feel this way and how it works, and how to stay on track. Because all of the tools are out there. I'm helping and sharing my knowledge and the tools that I use because of my success. I feel like I can share it on with other people as well. So, so I think that's about it for today. It's long enough. Thank you so much for joining me this week at Finding Wendy. And don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any comments, if you have any questions, just let me know below. And we will see you again next week. So have a great week. I had a kind of a tough week. I had a really bad cold the whole week. Today is my last day of the cold. I just still have a cough. And I haven't had a cold in a year, so that's pretty good. So anyways, stay safe, stay warm, and hopefully we'll get over this Arctic chill soon. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.